joining me. I'm Scotty D, and this is a Taylor 314. It was made in El Cajon, California, and I just got back from California, so what the heck. I normally work on Gibsons and Martins and Fenders and Gibsons and all that kind of thing, vintage guitars, but this is 21 years old, and I think it's worthy of a video. Look at all that beautiful silking in the spruce top, and it's got nice quarter sawn mahogany sides and back, and it's missing a chunk of wood, so we'll be able to fabricate something. Let's decide if we're going to fill it in and do a little painting to match, or if we'll try to splice in a real piece of mahogany. That might be interesting. Well, regardless of what I decide to do with the missing wood area, this won't go in. So I think I'll have to reach in from the inside and push up. Maybe I'll put in the scissor jack and open it up so it pushes, bending this piece so it can dive back down and settle into where the binding area is there. Let me check. Before I get started with the Taylor, I wanted to show you a couple really surprisingly expensive instruments that are here in the shop right now. First, this here, Martin, is a custom shop, and it was made for Chuck Levin's. They're in Baltimore, Maryland, a music store. It's got, again, silking spruce, the highest quality that Martin ever will offer. It's got the slotted peg head with the pearl or abalone inlays, Grover tuners, mahogany neck, quarter sawn Indian rosewood sides. It's got what appears to me to be a crotch walnut burl back. It's book matched. Whenever you see a tree that has two branches coming in like this and a big knob in the middle, that'll usually have some burl in it, and it's what they call the crotch. They take the piece of wood from where the two branches come together, it's called the crotch, and they slice it and they book match it up open like this. And I've never seen anything like that from Martin. I've seen it from more boutique builders, but never on Martin. And this one's a Gibson custom shop, Les Paul Custom 1968. It's a newer, both these guitars are kind of new, and they call it the M2M program. You can download a form where you can order exactly what you want. This one in particular was ordered with gold hardware, witch hat knobs, flame maple top, ebony fretboard block inlays, beautiful pearl inlays, and what you call a amber lacquered headstock, because as you can see, the pearl on the headstock is much more yellow than the pearl on the fretboard. It has all the type of stain and finish that you'd see on a R9. It's just their top quality, best wood, best hardware, best pickups, electronics, everything about it. It's just the best from Gibson, best that they make. And I would put it right up there with one of those R9s. It's got the nylon nut, which is the best material you could possibly use for a nut. It'll last forever. And I thought it was really nice. They just brought these in, the customers brought these in for setups. Obviously, these guitars are both worth upwards of $7,000 brand new. So, there's a jack. I've placed the jack in this area. My hand is inside the sound hole. See that? And I'm gonna open it up. See how I can close it? I can open, close, open, close. So while it's in the open position, I'm gonna see if I can pull this piece, jam it down into the binding, and then close it real quick. to hold it down. Let me see if I can press it down with a clamp. You know, I'm kind of wrestling with it now. See if I can get my scissor jack. Okay, well, I got it settled back down in there. Pulled out the jack, and I'm wondering which type of glue I might use. I think I'll get like a Lexan. Cooking up some warm fish glue. It's going to be a little more liquidious when it's hot. So once again, I got the jack inside right around here. It's pushing up on this. It's opening up these two cracks. I'm going to get as much as I can in here and maybe a little between the kerf lining and the back. Drop the jack, bring it over to this side, push it up, shoot a little bit of the fish glue down in there, take the jack out, put on the clamps. Let's do it. I'll just kind of push it in there. Looks yummy and it smells good too. Now, I think what I'll do is that looks good to me. Now, I think I'll shoot some down into the lining there. Maybe I'll just move it over, move it down. The braces are in the way too. I gotta jump over the braces. I moved the jack from up here, I moved it to down here a little further, and it opened up this area. So I'm gonna get a whole bunch of it right there. Oh wow, the needle goes right down in there. Okay, so there's a lot of glue right there now. And then maybe a little here. A little extra here. Yep. Now I'll see if I can reach in there. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I got it in there. I got my arm in there. I'm reaching up. I don't see it squeezing out right here, but I know it's in there. Make sure I got some there and close it up. Yeah, it's getting in there. Alright. Give her a quick wipe and then I actually left the jack in there because it's just barely up to the surface, because when I reef down on these clamps I don't want it to cave in too much and crack more stuff. And I'll So I never put any glue down in here. I don't think I did anyways, because that little joint is so tight, there is no way in the world any type of wood glue, fish glue, even hot hide glue isn't even thin enough to go down in that crack. So I'm waxing it off with some paste wax. I'm going to get the thinnest CA glue down in there, hopefully. Okay, this is the StewMac number 10 thin CA glue. I'm going to drop it in real quick, and I got wax on this paper towel, and I wiped it with wax right after. I kind of chased behind it with wax. We'll see if that it doesn't seem to go in there either, but you know, put a little here, what the heck. This area is going to get a lot of heavy sanding. So we'll just see what happens. I think because of the shape of this area here, putting in a patch of mahogany would probably look a little more fragmented than if I just fill it in with epoxy putty. So this epoxy putty, I've tinted it. I buy a neutral light color pine. It's either pine or ash, you know, it's just it's not a reddish putty. And you know what? I didn't even mix up enough. So this is going to be, this will just be layer 1. Okay. I usually mix up way more than I need, but this is it's quite a gash. Alright. So for round number 2, I tinted it with a little more of a, let me get rid of some of this, vintage amber with just a skosh of, no, I'm sorry, lemon yellow with a skosh of vintage amber to give it that orange, bright orange yellow color that, and again, join the Luth group, $10 a month. It'll help you form your own ideas based on some of Ian Davlin's and Doug Proper's methods. It's $10 a month to join the Luth group, and like I said before, I pitch in $20 a month because I like to feel like, you know, I'm not taking too much. It seems like a steal to me, $10 a month, but for beginners, it's great. I mean, it's very low risk to join a group for $10 a month. You can cancel at any time. And so the reason I went so light, and I learned this from Ian Davlin, is that you want to try to go for the lightest color that you see in the wood, not the darkest color. We'll end up darkening this area as needed with the paints. So I like to take a razor blade that's been lubricated with a soapy detergent called Simple Green and shave it off like this. I found that the Simple Green helps keep the razor blade from sticking to the project, because this stuff is kind of in its sticky form right here. And I can actually kind of clean up the outer area and smooth over with my finger right there. It doesn't stick. So there'll be very little sanding to do. I can actually maybe just put in some little pores, wood pores, after it dries. I'll put in some wood pores, fill those in with a brown, and then start painting with medium brown and light golden brown, and of course a little bit of red to get this to match, start matching, and we'll be in good shape. And here's some Simple Green on a little Q-tip. Let's get that cleaned up. And so you see the jagged edge of the existing wood is going to help blend this all in. See that jagged edge? That's perfect. If I was to cut a straight line and inlay a piece of mahogany, it would stand out much more than this jagged edge, just based on experience. So again, very little sanding to do now. that I've gotten the simple green into the equation. Put some of the Glue Boost Black up there because that needs a little work. And then you can see there's a little blemish around the side, but that's probably not going to be very visible when we're done. I used some of the Micro Mesh 800 just to kind of scuff all this up, see what kind of witness lines I could see. And now I'm going to pen in some grain lines. Like this. Whoa! I forgot the jack is still inside. Okay! I got it out, but you know what happened? I had that thing stuck in there, and I poured super glue, and it was in there, and it was glued inside the guitar. So what I had to do was I reached in there and got this razor blade doohickey in between the back and the very edge of it, and then I took a long pipette like that, and I got the acetone, and I like sucked up a whole pipette full of acetone, and I got it right in between the razor blade and the jack, and waited for it to soak in for a minute, and then I kind of like backed the jack off a little bit and grabbed the other end and gave it a wiggle, and it came out. But man, this is what you're supposed to do. Take a piece of cling wrap, you know, cut it down to size or whatever. Actually works. Is it this way? Yeah, it's sticky. Anyways, stick it on there. Cut it to size a little better. Stick it on there. Wax this, and then stick it inside the guitar. Don't glue your jack to the guitar, dumbass. So I'm having a little do-over here with the grain lines. I wiped off the first round. Maybe I'll try this. A little shellac. Switched it up to something a little more brown, not quite as red. A little Kalamazoo mahogany. Make sure the brush isn't too wet. And then we'll get out the aerosols, try to lock in this color. I'm putting on some masking to keep overspray from getting everywhere. I'm just going to do a few mist coats as a barrier. And I don't want to mess up the sides of the guitar. the garbage bag over here. I got the exhaust fan there. This is Ultraflow Ultra Bond Clear Flat for polyurethane finishes. I'm just gonna do a quick mist coat and try to lock in all those little dots. Okay, got a dot right there. Oops. I should be able to wipe it up. Yeah. Well, overspray. It keeps dropping here, but this polyurethane stuff cleans up like... It cleans up easy. I mean, lacquer doesn't really stick to it. Right, well here's a little tip. Whenever I've just sprayed something, I clean out the nozzle with a Q-tip. I have lacquer thinner right here. I'm just gonna drop it onto the Q-tip and then clean off the nozzle so it doesn't get clogged up. Next time I need a couple spritzes, it'll be good to go. Alright, I waited a few hours. Now I'm going to scuff it up a little bit and have my second do-over with the shellac color. I've got a little bit of medium brown and red mahogany and a little bit of shellac. I'm going back to that more reddish color that I started out with. I'm just going to kind of mix and match the two and see what looks best. I'll just kind of mop it on. I'll make sure the brush isn't too wet. I just barely want the stuff to come off when I kind of... I'm going to go up and down kind of like a sewing machine needle. And sometimes maybe draw straight lines. But, you know, the mahogany grain is kind of linear. It's kind of like ribbon stripes. So sometimes I'll go in that direction. They say to go outside the lines sometimes. And, I don't know, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Now I'll get wiping on some poly as a clear top coat. This is the Stu Mac Wipe On Poly. And a garden variety paper towel. After it dries for an hour and a half, scuff it up with a gray Scotch-Brite pad and repeat 10 times. Could take a day or two to get 10 coats. But it's easier than getting out spray equipment.
I don't offer a warranty with any of my repairs, but I always tell people that I can guarantee that it'll look good in the dark.
Now for the electronics cleaning, I come in here and I take this pipette with the deoxit and I drop it straight down into the pot. And then I rotate the shaft. Hear that? Hear how it went away? Let's do this. Put the knob back on so I can rotate it quickly. And now all that scratchiness is gone. It was so bad that it wasn't even functioning, but thanks to these specialized vise here, this Total Vise number 7, and the pipette, we've got these cleaned out. So that was one of the main problems with this guitar.
I like to hydrate the fretboard with the Howard's Feed and Wax and a garden variety paper towel. You gotta feed the ebony. So these strings, I come in with a small pair of pliers and I bend the ball. That way when it comes down through the pinhole, it kind of grabs onto the bottom of the bridge plate. Then you stick the pin in there, pull the string taut, and you've almost got a C shape down there. And this is how I wrap the posts. I come around the top, one wrap, I bend the leftover string up towards the ceiling, and then I go underneath. 2 wraps underneath, 1 wrap over the top. I repeat for all 6 strings.
Tuning in. Appreciate you guys hanging around to the end. See you next week.